Hello everyone, welcome to Snippet Nugget. In this video, we are going to learn about what is web storage, and also we will understand it using some live example. So let's get started. What is web storage? I have just prepared a write down notes and I'm kind of reading it out. So when I say web storage, some of the websites for their operation or for their working, they wishes to store the data in user's browser. For example, if let us say you are booking a movie ticket, so you are selecting the seat and in particular row or in particular column or something like that. So this kind of informations are generally stored in web storage, so that the browser remembers that what was your seat selection, and once you start actually connecting to the payment gateway, then for your case, that seat selection is logged for, let us say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and we see a message like this session is having the period of 10 minutes. So that particular seat is logged for you. So before going to that payment gateway route, all the information are stored in the session storage. And similar to that, while when we are opening any banking website or online transaction, a new session is created and all the temporary information are stored in session storage. And once that transaction is complete or we have logged out of the website, all the data from the session storage are cleared. So these are some of the use cases where the website wishes to store some information into the user's browser. In old days, when the concept of web storage was not there, the websites through the JavaScript implementation used to create cookies. Like cookies are just a collection of key and value pairs. So they used to create new key value pair in order to store some of the information. And the drawback with the cookie situation was like by the fundamental design of HTTP methods like GET and POST and all those, every time we are connecting or requesting something to the server, by default, all the cookies which are there in our web browser for that particular domain name, okay, they are sent to the server. So every time it is not in our control that we want it or not, it is by default always all the cookies will go to the server. So unnecessarily it increases the size of our request. And similarly, when it is coming back, it is again kind of the bandwidth consumption. So it is not good to send unnecessary information through the cookies every time to the server. So that is why the concept of web storage came. So I'm just reading it out that before HTML5, application data had to be stored in cookies included in every server request. Web storage is more secure because it basically stores all the information in your local browser and nobody else can see it or intercept it. A large amount of the data can be stored locally. So I remember that around 5 MB of the data per domain name is the limit for the web storage. So basically, if let us say we are working with w3schools.com, so w3schools.com can store up to 5 MB of web storage, in your local web browser. And before using the web storage, it is always a good practice to check that your browser supports the web storage or not. Web storage are of two types: local storage and session storage. Okay, so now let us see that how we can check whether a browser supports web storage or not. So it was a practice generally done some 5 or 7 years ago when not many browsers used to support web storage, but these days actually all the browsers support it. So if you just write type of storage, so it should give you the type as a function. Okay, if the web browser doesn't support the web storage, so it will give you undefined. So this is a simple code snippet. Like we can check that if the storage type is undefined, then we will conclude that your web browser doesn't support the web storage. And if it is not equal to undefined, which means it is equal to function, it means it supports it. So this is how we generally check. But these days, almost all browsers supports it. Also, I want to bring it one more point, especially for the beginner audience, that any kind of file can be converted into a string. There is the API available in almost all the languages like Java, Python, and JavaScript, which converts any of the file to a string. We call it as base 64 string because it converts into a 64-bit representation. Okay, so normally people think that in the storage we only store the string format, and we can't store the video or images or gifs and all. This is not the reality, because we can eventually convert this file, any file actually for that matter, and store them as a string. Okay, so now coming back to what is local storage and what is session storage. So local storage is basically both the type of storage, local and session. They store or save the data in key value format. Like there will be a key, and corresponding to that key, there will be some value associated. Okay, so just for an example, like name is a key and John is a value. Age is a key, and let us say 29 is a value, and so on. Address is a key, and the complete address is a value, and so on. Okay. So always the local storage and session storage stores the data in key value format in a web browser. And as I said, that 5 MB is generally the limit. I'm not sure about all the browsers, but this is what the convention some years ago. Okay. Local storage object stores data with no expiration date. So this is important to note, that the main difference between local storage and session storage is that local storage stores data without any expiration date. So it can be remain stored for a really long time, until unless you clear your browser storage or uninstall your browser or something like that, or intentionally you do local storage dot clear command. Okay, so that means data will not be deleted when the browser is closed. So this is very important to remember, and it is important difference between local and session storage. These are some of the APIs, like window.localStorage or .setItem for creating a key value pair. Similarly, getItem for fetching back a key's value if that key is already set. Similarly, we can remove a key from the local storage, and also we can clear the whole local storage. Okay, so this is how we generally work with the local storage, and exactly similar to that, we have APIs for session storage. So the main difference, as I already told 2 times, like session storage persists the information only for one session. When I say one session, it means that as soon as you close your browser tab, all the session storage data which you have saved or website have saved will be lost. But it is not the case with local storage. Okay, so please note I'm talking about the browser tab and not the browser window itself. Okay, so if you close the browser tab, your data is gone. If you close the browser window, obviously browser tab will also be closed, right? So it is all about the life of the session storage is the life of the browser tab. So let us see with some examples. So this is the website w3schools.com. Okay, and I'm going to save some of the information. So window.localstorage.setItem. Okay, and I will save name as John. Okay, now I will try to fetch this item, like getItem. So please note that this is local storage. So I will fetch it back. Now I'll try to go to new tab, and I'll just I'm right now in some not in any browser. So I'll just open the browser developer console, and I'll again write window.localstorage.getItem and next. Okay, so you see, because there is no domain name here, I have received the null result, because the name is set in a local storage for this particular domain name, W3 schools. So let us say if I open W3 schools, some websites like this. And I open the browser console here, and I just type the same thing, window.localStorage.get item name. Wow, we have received the John back, right? So you see, the information is shared across any of the tab if the domain name remains same. So in the same way, we can remove the item key. So just let us remove it and see. Remove. It is removed. Now, if I'm getting it back, there is nothing. Same is the case if I'll try to get it back from here. Nothing, right? In the same way, I can clear basically the whole local storage with .clear. I'm not going to much details. And exactly the same way I can do the session storage, like for example, window.session storage.set item session info, let us say, and okay. So when I'm doing this, and I can do the get for it. Okay, so I have received it. But if I try the same thing, okay, in another window tab, nothing, because it is not shared across the window. So let us say what will happen if I refresh this tab and see. Okay, so because this tab is the same, the domain name is obviously same, I'll receive the information, right? But what about if I'll close this tab and again open w3schools.com? So obviously the information will be lost, because the whole session storage life span is just the lifespan of the browser tab. So you see. So this is all about session storage and local storage. Please feel free to mention any doubt or anything in the comment section, and I'll surely address that. And if you like this video, please subscribe it, because that is what keeps me motivated and like the video. Thank you. Thank you very much.